What's going on, YouTube family? Hopefully you all had a wonderful New Year's. Any goals that you have set up, I hope you guys crush them this year. In today's video, we're going to be doing a little bit of preventative maintenance on the Z. There was one day when I was driving, I did notice that the heat was not as strong as what it normally is. So to me, that was telling me my thermostat was probably going to be going out or that the coolant was low. Check the coolant, wasn't really low. Just as a little preventative maintenance, I want to go ahead and change out this thermostat because I live in Ohio and it had been crazily warm, but now it wants to start getting cold. If I do drive the Z out while it's cold out, I want to be able to have my heat. I hate the cold. This will also apply to any G35 or any other motor that has a VQ35 in it. Changing out the thermostat will be relatively easy. It should only be a couple hand tools that's necessary. I did order a new thermostat. I'll leave links in the description for part numbers, everything like that you will need. I also did pick up some OEM Nissan coolant that we'll be putting in here as well. I didn't want to use the Prestone or anything like that. I just want to go ahead and put OE coolant in here. So to get things started, I'll go ahead and pop the hood on the Z and show you guys the location of the thermostat, and then we'll continue on with this video. Alright guys, I know it may be a little difficult to see. If you follow this hose right here, this is your lower radiator hose. Follow that up onto the block. This is where the thermostat is at. It's all in one housing. There's two hoses that go to this thermostat housing. The thermostat is built into the housing. The thermostat's only held on by a couple bolts, so that's gonna be easy. You guys should know where your radiator cap is at, which is right here. On the back side of the motor where the heater hose is at, there is actually a bleeder screw right there, so you will open that up when it comes time to filling the motor back up with coolant. So guys, it's really important when you're working on the cooling system of your vehicle to never work on it while it's hot. When you're removing the radiator cap, you want to make sure that the engine is cooled off, the radiator cap is cool to the touch, none of the hoses are hot. You don't want to be driving and then opening up the radiator cap, because if you do that, then the pressure in the system can burn you. I've seen cars overheating and people taking off the radiator cap, and it's just like a volcano going off of coolant. Now what we need to do in order to start doing this thermostat, we need to go ahead and raise the Z up in the air. We'll go underneath the car and start draining the radiators. Alright guys, so we got the Z jacked up in the air. Boom, as you can see. You don't have to pay some shop a whole bunch of money to do this. This can easily be done by yourself. Just a few hand tools and you'll be able to take care of everything. To start things off, you know, you're just gonna need you a basic socket set. I got another ratchet here because the ratchet that comes in these Cobalt sets, those things suck. The gears mess up, they don't ever wanna like latch and stay on the proper setting. You'll need, of course, your thermostat. This is the AISIN, I'm gonna just say Asian brand right here. 2 sets of pliers. I got my needle nose pliers and some regular channel locks. I know that these are rusty, but they will still work. I got me a flashlight because there is gonna be a part where we will be underneath the car when we're draining anything. And speaking of draining the coolant and stuff, you're gonna need something to catch all that in. Get you an oil drain bucket or just some type of bucket to catch everything. Then after all that stuff's out and you got your thermostat in, you're gonna have to fill this back up with all that coolant that you drained out. Boom, right here we got the good stuff. We got that Nissan blue extended life 50/50 coolant. That was probably like $20 something a gallon. Not expensive, but hey, it's gonna be good. This is gonna take about 2 gallons of it, so I've got 2 gallons of it right there. That's all the parts out the way. Take down the belly pan so that way we can start to drain the coolant out. But before we start draining the coolant, there's one thing you want to do. Come over to your radiator cap that is not hot, and we're going to just take it off. We're going to set it right there so that way it will prevent the hood from closing. That way we don't forget to put it back on. Right now what you're looking at is the belly pan, splash pan, whatever you want to call it. It's held on by 10mm bolt. Make sure you don't lose your 10mm socket. I know that those things are hard to come by, especially in this COVID era. Okay guys, so now we have that splash pan removed from underneath the car. That same radiator hose that we saw up top that went to the thermostat. If you look up here, you'll see a Phillips head screw. You'll loosen that up and remove that, and that's going to drain the coolant out the radiator. Let's see if I can do this without splashing myself. Oh. Looks like the Hulk. So guys, you want to be careful when you're opening up these drains. They are made out of plastic and they can strip easily, but just make sure that you're using like a number 2 Phillips that's not sharp or anything like that, and they should loosen up pretty easily. I didn't have any problems with mine, but your results may vary. So while the radiator is draining right now, I'll go ahead and open up the thermostat to show you guys what that looks like. So this right here is your thermostat housing, and your thermostat is built into it. Now unfortunately my thermostat did not come with the gasket inside the box. I thought it did, but that's my bad. I should open that up in advance to make sure, but hey, things happen. Alright guys, so we're going to get ready to start removing the actual thermostat. We'll go ahead and take off the clamp from the thermostat housing and slide the clamp down. Sometimes your hoses will be stuck on there, so you can just open your pliers up, put it around the hose and twist it back and forth. There will be coolant that's gonna come out of here. Tuck it in the fender. Now we wanna remove this U-shape hose. I'm kind of afraid of ripping that hose. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead and loosen up the bolts for the thermostat, get the thermostat out, then I'll take that hose off once I can get my hands on it a little bit better. So those bolts are just 10 millimeters. All right guys, so here you can see the old thermostat. This is going to go straight. Alright guys, I know it's pretty hard to see, but if you look where that green, nice coolant color is at, that black, that's the old gasket. Make sure that you do get it off of there. Since I need a gasket and it's time to put the thermostat on, I'm going to actually run up to the parts store real quick to grab one. And I'm going to take you all along with me on the journey. We're just going to take the daily. It's nothing fun or exciting, it's just a Ford Escape. But hey, it's got boost, and this is boost weather, but it don't matter because that thing is slow. But what y'all know about that four-wheel drive turbocharged Ford Escape, boy? I tell you what, that boost, man. Y'all see that temperature? This is why Ohio sucks. All right guys, so we pulled up to the local O'Reilly. They didn't have the metal style gasket in stock, but they did have like the paper Felpro one. But the part number is 35622. We'll just go ahead and get ready to go to the house and put this on now. All right guys, so we're back at the house now, back in the garage. We're going to continue working on the Z. We have the gasket. So pretty much what we're going to do now is the reverse order of what we just did. Alright guys, so we have the thermostat installed on the motor now. I'm going to install the drain plug back into the radiator, fill this up with water because I want to flush out the radiator some because there was like a little bit of gunk inside of there. We'll just wait for that gauge to go up, and once it goes up, thermostat should kick on, but the waiting game begins. Now that it's freezing cold inside this garage, I'm about to get ready to drain the water out of here. And then after the water is drained out, then we'll be able to fill it up with coolant. I just want to do this to get all the residual gunk and stuff and excess coolant that was in the block out. All right guys, so the water has been drained out of the radiator. I try to get out as much of the coolant as possible, but it's time to add in the Nissan coolant. What I have here is just a funnel set up with kind of like a rag around it. They do sell funnels that are good for bleeding radiators. I just don't personally have one right now, and what they do is they'll like attach one just like the radiator cap would, and there's a big bowl and it's clear and you can see like the coolant levels and stuff like that in it. That's a nice blue. I like it. One down. Alright, so we had coolant coming out the bleeder, which is good. That means that at least it's all the way back to that portion in the system. So we'll get ready to start up the car. And here comes the long, boring, tedious process of getting all the air pockets out of here. Keep your funnel filled up with coolant. Just let it run. Alright guys, so there you have it. We have the radiator filled up. The only thing that I gotta do now, which is just drive it for a test drive just to make sure that everything's fine, the heat's good. Then after I drive it, I can double check the coolant levels, make sure that everything is fine and that the radiator is filled and the overflow is filled as well. Overall, doing this was not really difficult at all. Anybody can do this. You can do it at home in your garage and not have to worry about paying a shop in case your thermostat is out. You can save yourself some money and do it yourself. Hopefully you guys found this information useful, and if you did, go ahead and drop a like down on this video. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you are new here and turn on that bell notification. That way you can get updates when I post my videos to give you guys more tips and tricks and how-tos. The journey of this Z here, it's been fun. 2022, this is gonna be our year, guys. I'll see you all on the next one. Peace.